welcome to the premiere episode of the second season of The Warrior Within. I'm your host, Jaime Bennett. Before I begin with what this episode's topic is going to be about, I just want to talk about the last season. I had one of my dear friends, Patrick L. Smith, on the last episode of last season, and I plan on having guests this season as well. I also want to talk about more worldly topics, not just sensitive topics like I have been talking about, and I hope that this season will be just as empowering as last season. My original goal with this show was to empower people, to let people realize that they're not alone, that they're not struggling with the issues that I'm talking about, that the topics that I'm talking about, that they're not in it alone, that there is somebody out there who is willing to listen to their story. They just need to speak up and tell their story. They don't need to be afraid to talk about their story and, the issues that they have faced in their lifetime. I just want people to know that it's not just them, and it's not just, they're not in it alone. There are other people out there who has faced some of the same issues that they have faced, and there's always somebody willing to listen. This topic of today is kind of going to be the first part in a two-part series. The topic that I'm going to be talking about today is going to lead into the second topic in this two-part series. Because this is a sensitive subject matter, I do have to say viewer discretion is advised, and we are going to be talking about body dysmorphic disorder. If you don't know what that is, I'm going to give you the definition of what it is. It's a mental health condition in which you can't stop thinking about one or more perceived defects or flaws in your appearance. A flaw that appears minor to other people or can't be seen by other people is something major to you. I have body dysmorphia, and that's kind of why I'm wanting to talk about it today. It affects more people than you think. The statistics state that it affects 1.7% to 2.9% of the general population. So that is about 50 people. That means more than 5 million people to nearly 10 million people in the US alone have it. It's a serious topic. Some people might think that it is not anything major, that it's just a person being vain, you have people who get lip injections and you have people who get cosmetic surgery. Sometimes it's not just about somebody being vain. Sometimes there is a mental condition behind it that makes it to where, this is how they feel comfortable. They want to try to fix the issues. I have body dysmorphia. It started when I was like a teenager, but it progressed more, and I noticed it more when I was like 23. I was in a relationship when I went off to college, and it was my first serious relationship. And this particular person that I was in a relationship with, I was a size 16, which is, bigger than what I am now. But I was a size 16, and I was pretty on the more bigger size of the spectrum for females. And I was that size when I got in the relationship with this particular person, and he put me through horrible situation, which I will talk more about in the next episode. But you need to understand how my body dysmorphia started. So I was size 16. He stressed me out in the relationship. I ended up losing a bunch of weight. I ended up breaking up with this person because of what he had put me through, and because of my mentality and not thinking very highly of myself at the time. Ended up getting back together with him, and he told me that I did not lose any weight when I was bragging about the fact that I had lost weight. Most people, they'll look in a mirror and they will be like, oh, I look good today. Or, if there's a hair out of place, they'll say, yeah, there's a hair out of place. If somebody were to tell me that I look really good today, I can point out and pick apart all the things that I don't like about myself and that I don't like the way that I look. Like it says in the definition, other people might not see what you're paranoid about, what you're feeling poorly about on your body, because they don't see anything wrong. They think that you look perfectly fine to them, but for me, it is very, very stressful to be around people. I have to go and look at myself in the mirror a whole bunch of times before I even come on this show, because, I worry, is there a wrinkle under my eye? My eyes look too dark underneath because I haven't slept. My arms are a little too jiggly. My hair doesn't look right. I will pick myself apart. And like I said, that this mostly started when I got into a serious relationship with somebody who didn't appreciate me. I'm working on it. It is a long process. My husband tells me I'm beautiful all the time, and it's hard for me to actually believe that. I kind of backtrack, and sometimes I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't lie because, I don't want to believe him sometimes. And it's really sad. It's very, very stressful. And, it's a horrible condition to have. I've gained a lot of weight since getting pregnant with my daughter and my son. And that has been, very horrifying for me because, when you get pregnant, you gain a lot of water weight. And I have been trying so hard to lose weight. I've been trying so hard to get myself into a better mental standpoint. But it has been a long road. It has been a struggle. And now that I have a daughter who's 11 going on 12, I try not to pick on myself so much because I don't want my daughter Willow to think that, you have to be a certain shape or size. I don't want her to think that you have to be a size 2, or you have to have blonde hair and you have to look like a supermodel, because I'm trying to teach her that beauty comes in all shapes and sizes. The thing that I have noticed about myself is that I can look at somebody, like one of my friends, and say, you look absolutely stunning. You're absolutely gorgeous. But I can't say that about myself. I'm working on it. Like I said, I have been taking photos of myself. I absolutely hate photos of myself, but I'm getting better. I've been taking photos of myself and posting them on Facebook, and I'm trying really hard to look at myself in the mirror and tell myself, you're amazing, you are incredible, you're gorgeous, and there is nothing wrong with you. People have flaws. Nobody is perfect. There's not a single person that is perfect in this world. You look at movie stars, and that's what runs me crazy. absolutely runs me bonkers, and I hope that they change it. Like, I've noticed that there are more actresses and actors who look like the normal everyday average person. They have flaws. They're not a cookie cutter size or shape. And I'm appreciating that about, you know, the movies and television shows or magazines. Like, they're starting to include people who are my size, people who look like me. And that is very, very empowering. The big thing that, you know, that I had to overcome after I got out of the relationship with that horrible person that I was engaged to, the big thing that I had to overcome is, you know, not get in my head so much, not think that all the things that he had said to me that were horrible about the way that I looked, about my body, I had to just evacuate those thoughts from my brain. I had to replace those thoughts with more positive thoughts, you know, and the fact that I met my husband and he has been a very positive influence in my life, has helped tremendously. You I know it's easier said than done to tell you all to believe your friends when they tell you that you look good, you look nice. They're not going to lie to you. They're not going to just, fill your head up with wrong thoughts. They're going to tell you the truth. They're going to tell you exactly how you look. It's a very, very hard thing to overcome, like I said, and I've said it several times. I know that I'm repeating myself, but I want people to know that, yes, body dysmorphic disorder is a mental condition. And the first step in the process, I'm not a doctor, I'm just telling you what has worked for me, the experience that I've been through with it. Somebody who has this condition, for, you to get pregnant, you get pregnant after realizing you have this condition and you gain a bunch of weight in your pregnancy is very, very, very hard to cope with. It's very hard to deal with. I'm still dealing with it. And like I said, my daughter is 11 going on 12. I have been struggling for like 11 to 12 years to lose all that baby fat. And, you hear people say, you had your kid like 11 years ago. What is wrong with you? Why can't you lose weight? It's terrible. It's really terrible. And then you go through and you do compare yourself to like some of your friends who are thinner than you, some of your friends that you think look better than you do. It's a struggle every single day, but you have to love yourself first. You have to look at yourself in the mirror. You have to come to terms with, okay, I'm not going to be perfect. I'm going to have flaws, but there's beauty in flaws. It makes you different than everybody else. You don't want to be like everybody else. You don't want to be like a supermodel. You don't want to look like a magazine. You want to be uniquely yourself. That's what I teach my daughter every single day. I don't want her to look in a magazine and see, a model in a magazine and think that that's how she's supposed to look. So what? I don't look like the models in the magazine when I'm wearing my swimsuit. I don't look like the models in the magazine when I'm wearing whatever outfit they're advertising. I look like Jaime, and I'm okay with that. That's perfectly fine. It's a terrible, terrible thing to have to go through, and just know that there are people out there that are willing to listen, and there are people out there who are going through the exact same thing as you. I get in trouble with my friends a lot, and I get in trouble with my husband a lot because I will sit there and I will make fun of myself. I'll be like, oh, I'm not I'm not glamorous chic, I'm backwoods chic. Like, that's how I cope with it, is I make fun of myself, because I figure if I make fun of me before anybody else has a chance to make fun of me, then that much better. And I know that that's really, really sad. Like, I can sit here and pick apart everything. Like, I can say, oh, my eyeshadow, it doesn't look right on me. My teeth aren't perfectly white. My arms jiggle when I move my arm. Like, I can sit here and pick myself completely apart, but I'm not going to do that. You have to come to terms with the fact that you are not going to be perfect. No matter what you do, you're not going to be perfect, because there is not a single human being on the face of the planet that is perfect. We all have flaws, and some of us hide those flaws better than others. We hide it with makeup, we hide it with clothing, and we're better at hiding it than others. It's not right to make fun of people either. Like, I've been in the position of being made fun of, and I have been on both sides of the size spectrum. I have been as thin as a supermodel. I was as thin as a supermodel when I was in college after all the horrible traumatic stuff happened with my ex-boyfriend. So I've been on that side of the spectrum. I've been super, super thin, and I have been overweight, and I have been in the middle and average like I am now. And you know what? Out of all the sizes that I've been, average is okay with me. That is the best size that I'm comfortable with, because I feel healthy. I feel like I look better than what I did when I was super, super thin. I think that this is a good size for me. I'm a mom. I'm not going to be super thin. It's not going to happen. I earned this body by being a mom. So, like, you just have to come to terms with the fact that you're not going to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect. You need to be proud of yourself. You need to love yourself, and you need to go in, look in the mirror, and tell yourself that you are amazing, you look amazing, that you are capable of doing anything, and you are worth it. That's the big thing that got pounded into my head with my ex. He basically made me feel like I was nothing. He made me feel like I couldn't accomplish anything. He made me feel like just the biggest loser ever. And look where I am now. I'm hosting a wonderful show that I'm very, very proud of. And I have a daughter, and I have a husband who absolutely adores me. If I would have let those thoughts permeate in my brain, then I wouldn't be where I am now. The best first step is taking time to get to know yourself, taking time to realize that, it's in your head. You get into your head too much. And I know that it's very, very hard not to get into your head. I still get into my head sometimes. I still think, oh gosh, I look terrible today. I don't look good. I don't feel like doing anything. Ugh. But you have to get out of your head more. Do things that make you feel better about yourself. Whether it's like, I've noticed here lately that I've been drinking lemon water, and that has been making me feel so good about myself. I'm like, yes, I'm doing something good for me, doing something good for my body, and I'm drinking lemon water, and I feel better about that when I do that. So, like I said, this is the first part in a 2-part series, and my body dysmorphic disorder started mostly when I was in that abusive relationship, but I still have it. I do still have it, and I'm still working on it. The thing that has actually helped me is taking pictures of myself, posting them, looking at myself, telling myself, I'm worth it. I am incredible. I do look good. And even having a journal and writing things down, that helps a lot too, that's incredible. You're always going to have somebody who's going to try to put doubt into your mind. It happens every single day. And social media is probably the worst for this, but every single day I have something that'll happen in social media, like maybe a comment that I come across or a comment that somebody has said to me that kind of puts a little bit of doubt in my mind. But then I have to rewind and think about it and be like, no, I'm not going to let that self-doubt get into my mind. I know that I am an amazing person. You just have to believe that you're an amazing person, and you have to believe that you can accomplish anything that you put your mind to. And you have to believe that, the people who say cruel things to you, the people who make fun of you, maybe they're going through something, maybe they're having issues, and they're just putting all their issues and anger about their issues on you by making a rude comment. Like I said, the next episode is going to be the second part of this. And, with my body dysmorphia, like I said, it's been a struggle. It has been very, very hard to overcome, and I haven't overcome it completely yet. There's days that I feel like I look terrible, but, I have to keep pushing through, and I have to keep telling myself, that's just in your head. You're just thinking that. And there are times that I have asked my husband, do I look okay? And he's like, yeah, you look fine. And I'm like, are you sure about this? Are you looking at me straight on? Are you looking at me clearly? The body dysmorphia, when I first discovered that I had something like that I had a mental condition like that, like I said, I was in an abusive relationship. It turned into anorexia, and I was starving myself when I was in college because my ex had said that, I was overweight and that I was fat and that I didn't look great. Like he'd say all these horrible things to me, and it led to anorexia. And like I said, when I first met my husband, I was a smaller size because I had just started recovering from anorexia. I started recovering from not eating a whole lot, and my husband has helped me a lot with that. Sometimes I tease him and I say, it's your fault. It's your fault that I gained even a pound because you fed me too well. But if you were to ask me back then, did I prefer being my slim size compared to my bigger size, I probably would have told you I prefer being slim because I get more attention and people look at me more. Now, if you were to ask me, do I prefer being slim compared to heavy set or, a bigger size, I would tell you that I prefer being the size that I am now, because when I was skinny and when I was slimmer, I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. I was afraid to eat calories. I was counting my calories. I was afraid to eat anything. I would eat like maybe 2 sandwiches a day, if that, and drink a couple of sodas, and that would be that. But, now I'm more aware of what the appropriate things are to eat to make yourself healthy. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a doctor, but, you just got to discover what works for you mentally and discover what works for you, like food-wise, nutrition-wise. Because, if you're eating a cheeseburger and that cheeseburger doesn't make you feel good about yourself and it's dragging you down, adds to this whole mental state. I know that when I'm eating a cheeseburger, I don't feel as good about myself as when I like sit down and eat some fruits and vegetables and grilled chicken. I feel better when I eat something like that. It all ties in together. Like, body dysmorphia is a difficult thing to deal with. But there are certain things that you can do to help yourself deal with something like that. Like I said, get a journal, write down your thoughts and feelings, look at yourself every day in the mirror and, give yourself a positive talk. When your friends tell you that you look good and that you're not as hideous as you're saying that you are, believe them. Actually believe them. Be like, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, that's very sweet. I've been working on that. I've been trying to work on that. And, I just need to believe people more. There is always somebody out there willing to listen. And I hope that, with me talking about this, I know that I have rambled on and on and on in this episode. I have repeated myself. This is the first episode of the season. I feel like I've been off for a whole year. I'll get with the program, I promise. The next episode will be even better. And then next episode after that will be even better. But, I hope with this episode that it has taught you all that you're not alone, that there are other people that are going through similar things as yourself, that there are always people out there that are willing to listen. Surround yourself with positive reinforcement. Surround yourself with friends who are going to be positive, friends who are going to give you compliments, friends that you can laugh with. Laughing is one of the best medicines that you can have. We were actually laughing before this episode, and it feels good to laugh. You feel like you're more in tune with the world. Just surround yourself with positive things. Surround yourself with things that make you feel good about yourself. Surround yourself with things that, gets the focus off the negativity and you can focus more on positivity. I know that I meditate. I meditate by listening to music. I meditate by writing in my poetry book. I write poems. I meditate by painting. And I meditate by spending time with my daughter. My daughter Willow always makes me laugh. It's always a good day when Willow's around because even if I'm having a very bad day and I'm in my head, she always gets me out of my head and gets me to laughing because we have dance parties and we do fun things. So surround yourself with positive things. Do what you love. If you play the guitar, play the guitar. Learn a new song. If you write poetry, write some poems. If you listen to music, listen to music. There's always something that you can do to get your mind off of your headspace, get your mind off of the negative things that you're thinking. I just want people to know that you're not in this alone, that there are people that are always willing to listen, and just surround yourself with positivity. I hope that this episode has been empowering. I hope that this episode has been informational and educational. And as always, love, hugs, and blessings.